Tracey, we got a juicy one today. I think this is going to, trust me when I tell you the topic.
Trust me, I'm a professional.
Professional
CEO.
Juicer. Juiciness. So stupid. How to fire a client. Now, I know from personal experience, just firing anybody, it doesn't matter. I have fired clients. Obviously, unfortunately, I've also had to let employees go in the past. Both suck. Both are extremely difficult. And clients is very tricky because they're paying you. They're part of your business. They're part of making your business successful.
Yep.
And you have to fire them. So first thing I want to ask you, okay, is why would you want to fire a client in the first place? What would be some examples of like why you would need to fire a client? And I want to, reason why I'm bringing that up is because I think people, are like, I have this difficult client. Should I, do I need to? What's that line that gets crossed for you to where you're like, I have to fire this client?
I think it's not respecting your policies to an abundance. Like it's going to happen here or there. But when I started looking at my book, when you pull up your schedule, right? And you go, oh, Habib's going to be here today.
I like how it's me.
First of all, if he shows up. He's going to be at least 15, 20 minutes late every time. I've asked him, I don't know how many times now. Or he's never happy with my nails. I've talked to him about this. Or whatever it is. They just ruined your day by seeing, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I see Habib's coming in at 3 o'clock and my day that's all I'm thinking about now. It's like, when you go, I would pay Habib not to come in.
That's bad.
Time to get rid of him. And it's hard because not only what you're saying, they put food on my table.
Right.
They're usually intertwined with other clients.
Of course. Because usually it's,
like Habib, I'm going to fire Habib, but Greg's his brother. I have no problem with Greg. I have lots of problems with Greg, by the way. But I got no problem with them. And then his mom comes too, and then his wife.
Such a good point.
And it starts getting very
complicated.
That's
such a subtle, like something that you wouldn't really think of talking about it. It's only when you're in that actual situation that would come up. And the fact that comes from experience, right? Yeah. Where you've had to actually do that. And I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that of like, I have this situation. So kind of the core sort of red flag, like the starting point is like, if you are wishing this person doesn't, it's this simple. Like, let me check my books today. Oh God, Habib's coming in today. If you're doing that every week,
and usually you're not doing it unless it's
every couple weeks. Sorry,
it's unless it's been a problem.
Right.
It didn't. Habib showed up 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late one time, and now every time I see his name, I'm thinking of that. No, it takes some time.
So let me ask you this though. Okay. What if it's someone where, because I want to differentiate here, okay?
Yeah.
Like between a real problem client and somebody who maybe annoys you. But
everybody annoys me.
I don't know.
Breathing annoys me. No, but I mean, it's not.
Well, let me expand on this a little.
Yeah.
Okay. So a situation where this is a client who is always on time, pays, tips, respectful, doesn't ever complain about the nails, but kind of drives you, like just has a personality that conflicts with you.
Yeah.
Is not loud or annoying, but you're just like, I don't like they annoy me, That's where you kick in the professionalism and you're like,
that's where you kick in.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with this person. And they pay me, and you have, when in Rome.
When in Rome.
You have to find some connection somewhere. Or just listen. if you start getting that picky, you're not going to have a clientele.
Yeah.
Do you get along with every single person's personality? No.
For sure,
You
no.
have to find some form of connection or just professionalism of letting them talk or whatever. It's not like we're doing dinner after this.
Yeah, right.
It's like, if you go into a store to shop, you don't like, let me talk to the sales associate and see if I get along with him before I buy this item.
So, I mean, what I would say to that is the only thing I would say the difference is obviously you're not seeing that person every 2 weeks.
No,
Maybe you are.
For an hour at a time. You're not. It's
For an hour at a
It's
time.
very personal. You're holding hands basically the whole time and gazing into their eyes.
Right.
So it's a little more intense. But if there's nothing wrong with what they're saying or doing, you're just not going to get along with everybody.
Yeah.
You're not going to find. When I say a connection, it doesn't mean like, oh, there's a real good connection here. We have this like good understanding or friendship. I mean, just like, oh, you have dogs, I have dogs.
Right.
I mean, there's something to talk about.
Of course. So, sort of the key is like, are they a good client? Like, you have to really say to yourself, this is a great customer.
Yeah.
I may not like, they might annoy me or, oh my God, maybe you still look at your book and you're like,
I don't like
Habib's
what
coming
type
in.
of job they do. I don't like their political view, which we
Whatever.
usually don't talk about politics,
Yeah,
but
not a good
whatever
idea.
it is, you don't.
Yeah, it's got to be, are they a good client?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so let's get into the bad client, the one that you're going to fire.
The one that fight.
Okay. You said if they're not following your policies. So how many times, I know you kind of have like a 3-strike rule for the most part.
For the most part.
But like late 5 minutes, is that like if they're always and do you have these conversations and you're like, hey, look, I really need you to be here at least 5 minutes early, 5 minutes late.
Just on time. Just walk in the door on time. You don't have to be 5 minutes early.
On time.
In fact, no one's ever early when you're running ahead of schedule,
of course.
by the way.
Of course.
And I used to hate it when my clients would show up 15 minutes early and I was running a little behind because it happens to you. So remember that.
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes is a clock difference sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
So 5 minutes, hey, if you make sure you just kind of walk through that door. But there's going to be times you're running 5 minutes late too. So you have to remember that, But, usually for me, it was when you started getting into after 15 minutes, I just didn't do you. I just didn't take you. I'm sorry, you're going to have to reschedule.
What if, because I like
You
situations.
love your
I
situations.
sure do. But I'm just so curious. I'm trying to imagine, like, because whenever in real life, it's always different, right? So like somebody, great personality, loves their nails, always pay, out the door pays, tips, has brought you like, oh my God, I love
Fired her.
Tracey.
I had her.
No,
I fired her.
but was late.
Nicest older lady was retired. Always 20 minutes late.
20 minutes
Always
late.
20 minutes late. Now, it took me like 15 minutes to do her nails. And she just, I talked to her and I talked. The thing is, she didn't have a job. She was
Yeah.
out on the golf course.
Sure.
And she would always show up late. But her thing was, well, it only takes 15 minutes to do my nails. I still schedule you accordingly.
Right.
You're very simple
And
to do. 15
it gets
20
stressful. It gets, if you're pushing it the last 15, you're like, yo.
But I have asked you, it's every time, and I can no longer do you. I just called her and told her on the phone I can no longer do it. Nice person, had no problems. She paid well, she tipped well, could not do you anymore. You are ruining my day. Now, I didn't look at the book and go, oh, God, I don't even remember her name. Mary's coming in. She wasn't a miserable person in that form. I just knew she was going to be late.
But that's stressful.
So I'm not, and here's the thing, because I've seen this lately, Habib. There's some things that have been stressing me out on TikTok. Some of these up and coming techs, there's things I don't charge for, or don't hold against you. Extra length, extra this, extra that, being late, no showing.
Are you kidding? No, that can't be real.
You must not have someone in behind them. that's going to ruin your whole day.
Of course.
Because one 15-minute late can throw you
all day.
Way off.
Of course.
Way off. So
if you're not making up the time.
Or let's say, okay, I can't short the next person because they were late, it's just stressful on top of it. Even if you're able to make it up, you worked hard to make it up. And then you don't want people to feel rushed because someone else was late, so that's this. So I just find I wasn't in her mind. She's like, well, why don't you just schedule some extra time on the back end? No, because you're that's where I could be making money.
You're running a business.
I'm running a business. So I just told her I can't do you anymore. And this is why. She was connected. Big connection to clients. And I didn't care. And I was very nice about it. I just told her why. And she's like, well, could you book me with someone else in the salon? I said, personally, I don't remember her name, Mary.
I can't recommend you.
I can't recommend you. I won't do that to the other girls.
Right.
I'm sorry. She called. She tried to get on my books while I wasn't at the shop because I'd leave my book at the shop. She did all kinds. She went to the other people that I did, and they're like, listen, Tracy's pretty easygoing. If she fired you, there's a reason.
Holy mackerel.
Remember that. If they like coming to you, it don't matter how they're connected.
Yeah.
So I never took her back. And she tried for quite a while, and she would call the girls and try to trick them into it. And they'd be like, well, nope, we know who you are.
Did she even say like, okay. I swear I'll never be late again.
No, she never said that.
Okay. She never said
that.
Unbelievable. So it's like, I'm not going to change.
I gave her many chances at least 3 chances to change.
Yeah, her actions showed.
So, and then I've had people who, on the other side, made me miserable. Showed up on time, paid me, just racked on me the whole time. Like, I don't even know why you're coming to me. You don't seem happy. Telling me how to do my nails through the whole thing. I don't know. I finally tell them, like, you know what, you don't seem happy with my nails, and I don't think I'm the nail tech for you.
Complaining.
Yeah. And I always say one of two things going to happen at that point. Either they stop that personality trait, that problem, because they didn't realize it. I had someone that's like cried. I did not realize they were doing that. That says something about you. Like, you don't realize that you're being a nasty person the whole time. And she turned it around. I was kind of shocked because I'm just like, this must be a set in stone kind of personality thing. Then I've had others that didn't. And then they got that one chance. And I just, I always say it's a Dear John letter. It's not me, it's you. And I'm not doing you anymore.
Yeah. How hard, I think there's a lot of people that would have a very hard time having that right now are listening to this going, I need to get rid of that client. How can they do it? How do you do it?
I sound like that it was easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's hard.
It's awful.
Yeah.
No one wants that conversation. I don't want to have that conversation with you. I'm just not that person. And I'm very sympathetic to people. I like, when I walk in a room and someone's having a bad day, I can feel it. Like, I don't like making people feel bad.
Of course.
I just don't.
Of course.
Except for Jorge. Love making him feel bad. But
exceptions.
Because it's an awkward, we've talked about this, right? It's an awkward conversation. But are you going to deal with the awkwardness every week, 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, every time? Or are you going to have a 5-minute awkward conversation and be done with it?
Yeah.
Again, one or two things. They're either going to change the personality problem when you first have this conversation and you're going to be happy, or 2, they quit coming to you, you fired them, and you're happy.
You're happy. I always looked at those difficult conversations. I'm extreme. And so my brain would always go, if you don't do this for your business, this is the first chip in the armor that is going to eventually lead to more bad decisions, that this is how companies or businesses get taken down.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
For me, it is like a life or death situation for the business of like enough bad decisions lead to your business going down. And then next thing you know, you're like, how did I get here? Why's my business failing?
Yeah. And you know why? It's a snowball effect.
It's a snowball effect.
You forgave the lateness or whatever it is the multiple times. You've had the conversation, you've mentioned it, but still it affects your next client. and your next client and your next client. And now you've upset a bunch of clients.
That's for that one client. Right.
And because usually for me, I had set appointments so that client that was after them, I would be after them the next time.
Right.
And the next time.
Right.
And the next time.
Yeah, because you have it dialed in like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you going to upset 4 other clients or even one other client just not to have an awkward conversation with someone that's not respecting you?
Yes.
It's a respect.
Yeah.
They are not respecting you.
And I think if you have a hard time, I would practice it. Mm-hmm. I would look in the mirror, look yourself in the eye. I've done this, mm-hmm. and it feels very awkward because that's exactly how it's going to be when you do it, and you just do it. And then when it comes time to actually talk to the client, you're going to be all nervous and it's weird. You get that feeling in your stomach and you just let it rip.
Yeah.
You're like, let me just say this, and then it's going to be weird. Yeah, nicely. Nicely and professionally is massive.
Are you never going to break up with a boyfriend? No, I'm going to just marry him because I don't want to have the awkward conversation.
That's a great point.
We're just going to be forever.
Yes,
now.
Yes.
No, you have to make sure your policies are being followed.
Perfect.
Or you're going to be miserable in your job.
I love it, Tracey. Thank you so much. And with that, you and I need to have a conversation.
Sweet. I'm fired.
Subscribe channel.